Hey, it's Neil. It's May 1st. This is just a very quick video on some of the new pagination stuff and just to show that the new Pico MVP is working and it's working on a different domain with CORS set up correctly so that I can see that I can upload things. So Barto, this is for you. You'll notice when I go to list my things now, it's passing in a max. And this limits the amount of objects that we're looking at on the server to 100, obviously. And then there's a few other things that you can do. So if we go over to here and list out, I'm going to need to be logged in too because, yeah, so I'm logged in there. You'll see this lists out everything. It ignores children now. And it does a maximum of 100, which means 100 regardless of who you are. But you can also pass in, let's say you reach the end of the max, and this is the last one because it's always lexicographically sorted. You can say, okay, I want to start with this one next time, and then we'll get 100 starting from that point lexicographically. So you can then page, it might take you a while to get down to the end because we have a lot of objects in there now, but you can do that. And then the other thing that you can do is put in an end. So we have start, max, and also end. And end just means it does not include that lexicographically. So everything up to that point. Well, I mean, what you could do is you might say, instead of that, let's say we want everything up until the object that starts with 1. And so that works also. So again, it's just kind of like string sorting, and this is all handled in Google Cloud Storage. So we take the parameters, format it into a nice little query, and then pass it off to Cloud Storage to actually handle all of the filtering and loading and stuff. Last thing to note, I've changed the IDs, so we're going to see a lot different IDs, and by that I mean there's a prefix. There's two kinds of prefixes. On the short IDs, like these, they're 10-character IDs. The prefix is just date uniqueness. And because it's date uniqueness and everything else is random, when something gets created, when you get the list back, you're not necessarily going to be in the order by time if you wanted to get everything for the current day. And so that's kind of important. Like I added something and I had max too low and it didn't show up, and that's because the day is the same, but you've also been uploading a lot of stuff, and so depending on the random ID at the end, yours might have shown up first. Maybe I'll do something about that, maybe I won't, to make it a little bit less likely for that to occur. But just so you know, you paginate using the lexicographical object name, but then the max, the created date of those things within the max might be different because that identifier is random. And then the last thing to note is, we're going to need to figure out why you're not able to upload things. And I haven't watched your video yet, but I will. But I can tell you that just loading off of my personal domain, all the CORS stuff works correctly. So there's probably something not right there. And so let's try it. Just for completeness, I can log in locally, and I'm logged in as myself, and I'll upload a new commercial. And this is going against, so this is localhost going against localhost. You see in the address bar. So right now there's no CORS happening. That works. So what we can try next is let's try localhost to the API, the production API. So that's going to force me to log in. And remember, localhost, you can't use Apple sign-in. Doesn't work on localhost. If you need to do that, go over to Cloud Shell. So let's go ahead and try to upload something else. And this is all checked in and on production. So again, this is going from localhost HTTP to production HTTPS, and I'm still able to upload. So there's probably something in your setup. If you want, in order to compare headers, hop on over to Gibden.com. my personal domain and load up the Pico MVP from there and try it out, and then you can see the differences. And if you're still having trouble at the Gibdon domain, then maybe it's something to do with your user profile and something wacky in the API and not actually CORS. It could be like signing the URL is getting messed up. So I will watch that video as soon as I get back from lunch, and hopefully this helps you get unstuck.